a lot of fun. This was a really great week. I loved going to all the different marinas and trying out the different cities. And then here in Troy was a lot of fun. Just doing all kinds of pubs and restaurants and.
That's enough for me. What do you want?
Just getting to experience the boat life and seeing what it's like for Chris and Laura on the boat from day to day is really cool, really fun.
Was the bed comfortable?
The bed was super comfortable.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. What was the worst part about this?
The spiders this past few days.
Here.
Where's there spiders?
Everywhere.
There are spiders all over the
everywhere.
bathrooms.
All over the dock, all over the bathrooms. This past marina.
Oh, in the marina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But not on the boat.
No, the
Not
boat
on
was
the boat.
fine.
Yeah.
You know the spiders won't hurt you. They're eating the bugs. That's where there's no.
I saw two of them fighting in the bathroom, and I was like, "Oh, let's get entertainment." So that's fun.
Sometimes they're not fighting.
What was the worst thing about the trip? Like on the boat, on the...
Nothing.
Were you okay with the rocking? And there
Yeah,
wasn't
I
a
really-
lot of rocking, I
After
don't
the
think.
first day or so, we didn't even notice it anymore, really.
Yeah.
We started liking when people go by with wakes, because then you could feel the rocking happening.
The thing that I was most worried about was the water slapping on the side of the boat.
It was
fun.
relaxing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm so glad y'all came. So glad y'all came.
I love when Bree found the screen door.
The shade.
that was funny. I've got all the stuff to make screens for two of the hatches that open, and I just haven't done it yet, and I can't really figure out how to make it work exactly. And Bree walks into the front V-berth and reaches up to the top and pulls the other side of the shade, and the screen comes out. I didn't no idea that was
We
going to
had
screen
no idea.
It took 5 seconds for her to figure it out. For 6 months, 9 months.
No,
A year. We've been on the boat a year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.
So, okay, so are you good with boat now?
Yeah, I'm good with boats now.
Do you think you could travel on the boat from Florida to the Bahamas?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably for sure.
We'd like it.
Then we can go from Key West, from the tip of Florida, over to the southern part of the Bahamas, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it might be a day ride over there, maybe a day and a night. So we can get over there, and then we can travel around the Bahamas.
Sounds like fun.
Okay. Is that a plan?
That sounds great. I would love that.
Okay.
Would love that.
Okay, well, you heard it here on video.
I was so glad that Zale and Bree came, and we had a great time, and I was really sad to see them go. We had a great time in Troy, New York, and we decided that we were going to leave on the Tuesday morning following Memorial Day. So if you remember, there's a bridge that's stuck in the down position on the Erie Canal route. So we decided that we're going to do the Champlain route.
Yes, it's about twice as long, but the view looks good. You can see Riker pulling off and leaving, and we're going to make a trip through the Federal Lock and meet No Agenda on the other side. They're anchored on the other side.
And the Federal Lock is the one that's in Troy.
That's right. So the Champlain route doesn't use the Erie Canal. It goes straight up the Hudson into Lake Champlain, and then up to the St. Lawrence River, and then back down to Montreal, and farther down to Lake Ontario. So it's a pretty good ways. But like I said, we're going to see a lot more scenery and a lot more of Canada than we normally had planned to do.
Troy Lock. We were told to starboard tie, is that correct?
It's easier if you port tie, but you can starboard if you choose.
Easier to port tie, but starboard if we choose. Okay, we're going to do starboard. We thought it was starboard. I apologize.
So we were a little apprehensive about this day. We have 7 locks total to get through, and travel also 38 miles before we get to Fort Edwards, which is where we are going to stop for the evening.
Timing wise, a lock can probably take 30 to 40 minutes to go through, and 7 of them, that's almost 4 hours, plus the traveling 38 miles. So we got an early start. We were there waiting for it to open when it opened up.
We were.
And but it turned out pretty good. The locks were all sort of synchronized a little bit, and they were waiting for us when we got there. So we really only had the only time it took was just the transit time. a lot of times when you show up a lock, it's not open. Somebody's coming the other way and they're filling up, and then you have to drop the water back down. So sometimes it might take an hour to get through, if you're lucky. But we met nobody coming the other way, and
Southbound.
Yeah. So we didn't have to wait for them to fill the lock up and those people to come through and get let out, and then us get in and fill up and go. And the locks are very nice, and the people are very friendly.
No, the lock masters are wonderful, yeah.
And they really accommodated us. There's one bridge that we're going to talk about later. That's, but this is an important aspect of taking the Champlain route, is that there's one bridge that's only 15 feet tall, and we could have fit under it barely. But the other two boats, No Agenda and Riker, could not fit. Chanel couldn't have fit under it. There's other boats that were with us, they couldn't have. So what the lock masters do is they manipulate the water level between the two locks, and
where the bridge is located.
Yeah, to let the water level drop down lower than it's supposed to be, so people can slip under that bridge. And like I said, we'll talk about it, and you'll see it later on as we're doing it. But that was a big concern for all of us, is can the boats make it? That's why a lot of boats don't do on the Great Loop don't do this path, is because they're too tall. The limiting factor on the main part of the Great Loop is 19 feet 6 inches. So we, you have to get in a rhythm, and the locks are pretty similar. But this first lock we went through had one of the doors were broken, so we had to squeeze through a half a doorway on the lock, and that's another limiting factor.
They said that the opening is 20 feet, I think.
Yeah, it's 40 feet with both doors, but one of the doors is broken, so some of the catamaran sailboats can't get through until that door is fixed. But the scenery was beautiful, the locks were nice, the days were nice. I mean, we have zero complaints. This has been a very beautiful day so far. And here's that bridge.
Right, this is the bridge that's usually 15 feet. When we left the lockmaster told us that it was 17.3, I think.
Yeah, they let more water out of the lock ahead. Or they dammed it up a lock ahead and let more water out downstream.
We're traveling with two main ship trawlers. One is a 390, that is No Agenda, and one is a main ship 36, I believe, is Riker. They both were worried about the bridge heights. They had to worry about their bridge heights because they were taller than 17 feet, but they took down their mast that held their radar. So the 390, No Agenda, they did not take down their bimini. And Riker, which is the 360 or 36 foot, they have a hard top, so they weren't able to take that down. But they both did lots of measurements and found that they were below the 17 foot requirement. So that's just for people that have that those two boats, that's what they did. That's what they were able to do. So their radars are down, and their anchor lights are down. So they took everything down. I guess it looks like right now that No Agenda has their radar still up. I do know that Riker had a mast with their radar on top, and they just put it down.
We went under a lot of bridges this day. We were going slowly and carefully because we wanted to make sure that the posted heights were correct, and we didn't want to do any damage to anybody's boat or rip off anybody's radar. So we're getting closer to our first stop, which is Fort Edwards. They have a long free wall with plenty of room for at least, we had 5 boats on the wall when we were there. And it was a great little town. We liked it.
Good morning. Well, this is our first stop on the Champlain route. We got here yesterday about 2 o'clock, 2:30. It's called the Fort Edward Yacht Basin. And you can see there's the little downtown area. and a few houses and a brewery, which we sat at last night and had dinner. I had drinks. It was awesome. And you can see how close it is to all the boats. And this beautiful little canal that comes off the Hudson River. But I think the Hudson River is fixing to end, and we're fixing to start something else. We came down this little channel here under the bridge. It's a beautiful morning. It's about 7:30, and this is Miracle and Riker, and then No Agenda down there. It's a very nice pier. It's very deep. It's about 6 feet deep right here under the boat, so that's 9 feet deep. And we have our power going here. We have 2 30-amp sockets. And it's just a little park, and the bathrooms are over there.
So we left the dock at Fort Edwards, back there behind us. Really cute little town. And the dock was free. It was a free dock with 30-amp power, so it was a good deal. A very good restaurant. Well, the restaurant we ate at for dinner was very good. It was Ye Old Fort Diner, I think was the name of that. So we had a nice time there. Oh, and they had a good little brewery too, that they make their own beer. Oh, is that it? Chris says that's what makes it a brewery. But they made their own beer there on site, he said. So
Yeah, and an apple tart cider was very good.
Chris had an apple tart cider that was good. I'm not a beer drinker, but they did have a frozen concoction of some sort that I drank, and it was good. So we had a nice time. We just stayed overnight here at Fort Edwards, and we are headed out at 8 o'clock. So we really encourage people to come to this stop. We did 7 locks yesterday from Troy, so we had to go through the Federal, and then we had 6 locks to go through on the Champlain Canal, and we still got here at 2 o'clock, something like that. So the locks are timed such that the I guess the lock masters called ahead and let you know that there was that people were coming, and they were all green and open doors whenever we got to every lock. So after the Champlain one. So it was a really good day yesterday, and we are looking forward to another beautiful day. There is our line of boats. We are the 4th one. We have a bigger wake, and so we said we'll just pull up the rear. We don't want to wake anybody. So we are coming up beside the yacht, the Lock 7. And look at that. They put little arches, decorated it on the side. But this is the side coming back from Fort Edwards back out to the lock. So there we are. So going this way is going down the Hudson River. Are we still on the Hudson? Yeah. Okay. Going down the Hudson River towards New York City. We're still in New York State. We are in the canal between Lock 7 and Lock 8. We just called to Lock 8, or our lead boat did, called to Lock 8, and they know we're coming.
A little over 2 miles.
It was only about 2 miles between the 2 locks, so it wasn't very far. And this is a really pretty little canal. Now the speed limit here is 5 miles an hour. I think somebody read that it was a man-made channel, and so because it was a man-made channel, they wanted it 5 miles an hour. That was I think that was Mike that said that read that someplace. It says 17.5. We are, somebody's waving to me in their car as they're going past. We are getting a lot less nervous, apparently, about, see, there's a 5 mile an hour speed limit sign. We're getting a lot less nervous. I should validate that or correct that. I am getting less nervous about going under bridges because just a couple of months, even a month ago, you told me we were going through a 17-foot bridge. I'd be out there, you know, so nervous. But they did say that as long as you have air draft, so the height of your boat is below 17 feet, you can do this entire route, this Champlain Canal route. Like I said yesterday, they have that one bridge that's only 15, but if you let them know 2 hours ahead of time, they will adjust the water levels so that between the two locks, and then you can it'll be 17. They adjust it to 17. And when we were there yesterday, the lockmaster came by and said that don't worry about the bridge. That bridge is 17.3 now.
So in this lock, I used a rope. They have ropes attached to the top, and you grab onto those, and you hold the boat towards the wall. And I was telling Chris that there's a rope close to the back that he could grab.
And then I showed in fast motion what it looks like to go down the lock, which I thought was a cool video.
So this one is, I think this was the first one we had that took us down. The ones before this, we were all going up.
I think you're right. But it takes longer. This is in fast motion. It takes a while to go down.
Yep.
And then once we get to the bottom, Laura gets a push off here. The engines are started, and once we get away from the wall a little bit, I'll start forward. I don't want to rub the dinghy in the back, turn and hit the wall and drag it along the rock wall.
And we have fenders all along the side of the boat, so it won't hit.
Okay, I don't know if y'all know this or not, but I really like camping, and I collect old camping stuff. And when I say old camping stuff, I mean like 100-year-old camping stuff, and old tools, especially tools that are light that you can carry to camping. And I make a distinction between camping and hiking. Hiking is a totally different thing. You have to be worried about weight and things like that because you're going to carry it a long way. And there's a man who lived in the 1800s. His name was George Washington Sears, and he did a lot of camping in this area, the Adirondacks, southern Canada over here. In this area, the frontier was over. This was just farmland, even back then. And like I said, the frontier was out west at this point, or going west, the Midwest now. And this was, people would just go out. They'd take the train up from, or they would take the trains out from New York out here, and they would have their canoes and their backpacks, and they would go into the woods and go camping and fishing when these streams are full of trout. It's an interesting area. I never thought that I would ever be up here to see this in person. I just, especially doing it by water.
So the scenery, as we keep saying, is just beautiful. And I don't think that the camera really does it justice. So on this trip, we're on our way from Fort Edwards to Whitehall. Somehow, neither of us got any video in Whitehall. Whitehall is a little town. There's 2 restaurants within walking distance. A good little hike, but there's walking distance. It's also right beside the fire station. The wall is beside the fire station and also the police department. And there's room at least there are 4 boats there, and there was room probably for another 3. So it's a good wall within a nice area.
All right, we are going into lock 12. We are going to be on the starboard side. We're going through with No Agenda and Riker. We just talked about that we wanted the starboard side. It's easier for Chris to get out of the helm and down the stairs from there. They have pipes and they have ropes, so it just depends on where we can get, where we line up. So, I'm gonna get my rope ready just in case I can get a pipe. One, two, 3. You see the 4th blue ball? I think right before the 4th, between the 3rd and 4th, there's a pipe. Oh, it's on the floor. It's on the bottom though. Good morning. Doing well. How are you doing? Oh, right here. Whoa. There's a rope that you can get to if you get closer on your butt, but you need your pipe, you'll need your hook. Between locks 1 and 9 on the Champlain Canal, we went up 126 feet. And then once we got to lock 11, we started going down. So this one is going to go down. And just on the other side of this lock is Lake Champlain. So this is the last lock in the Champlain Canal. So this is the 12th lock that we've gone through, including the Federal, since we started on this trip. And I think we did pretty good today. The free wall we stayed on in Whitehall has 50 amp and 30 amp, both, which is nice. And it is about, it's free, it's a free wall.
Free electricity.
And the electricity was free too. Some free walls you have to pay for electricity, but you didn't have to pay for the electricity at the Whitehall free dock that is just south of the lock. So I'm holding on to this pipe. So I have my line that is attached to the boat, and I looped it around the pipe. And so the pipe is going, as the water's going down, I just have to hold the line tight to the so that the line goes down the pipe. So it makes it slides down the pipe. It makes it a lot easier. We were doing ropes. I was doing ropes yesterday from the top, just because we couldn't line up with the pipes very well, because we had 4 people in the lock. But today I was able to get a pipe, so it makes it a lot easier. So I used to be terrified of locks, and so I would, I'm going to tie it off on the boat, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and now it's not. I guess doing so many so quickly, I'm like, okay, I got this. And there is a danger of getting lackadaisical about it, so I need to be careful. So if we were going up, then I had a pipe, then I should lock it onto the boat, because when we get up to the top, the wind may catch us and blow us around. We had a little bit of wind yesterday when we were going up. So the doors are opening now. We are going to be third in line. So we're letting No Agenda and Riker go first. Riker's right beside us. So I'm going to wait till Riker gets in front of us, and then I'm going to push off from the wall.
our last lock till we get to Canada. We got it. We're coming up on a beautiful bridge. What, do you know the name of this bridge? What? Oh, we don't know the name of this bridge, but it's really pretty. Chris just said that New York is a big state. And the mountains in the distance, oh my gosh. We believe it's called the Lake Champlain Bridge. Well, we are in an anchorage just south of Port Henry. It is a beautiful anchorage. I will say that bringing up your anchor, there's lots of moss on the line. I'm sorry, on the chain, and also on the anchor itself. So just know that going in. It's very pretty here. You can see the hills in the distance there. There's that bridge that we passed by yesterday that's just gorgeous. So we were pulling anchor, and there's lots of moss. And Chris said, this is the perfect time for you to get us out of an anchorage. Which actually is, because I think we're in 13 feet of water, and it only gets deeper that way, which is the way I'm going. It only gets deeper out towards the middle there, obviously. So, and then he gets to take all the moss off the anchor chain and the anchor. So, I don't know. I guess it's a win-win for me. I get to practice driving, and I don't have to do all the moss. We left our anchorage at the south of Port Henry and made our way to Burlington, Vermont. When we got settled at the marina, we walked over to the Church Street Marketplace, which has all these shops and ice cream and restaurants. It's a really cute area, close to the marina. As we walked back, we were able to take some pictures over the lake, and it's just a cute town. It's definitely worth a stop on your way up Lake Champlain.
Start yet. Wait till you're cute.
Hey, loopers. There you go. There are good ships and wood ships and ships that sail the sea. But the best ships are friendships, and may they always be.
Okay, let's try it again where we don't say frips.
Okay. Well, it has been a whirlwind couple of weeks that we've had. We had Zale here, and then we found out that the bridge is broken, and so we had to change our schedule, change our route, and start planning again for a route that we weren't familiar with. So we've been a little more tour guidey on this one because there are a lot of people asking us about this route, and we want to give more information in case you're wanting to take it as well.
Good morning. We're going to have another view from the shower window this morning, and this scene is across the Champlain Canal from Whitehall. We come out. It's beautiful. Check out this. Looks like a castle up on a hill. Called the Skeen House. And it looks beautiful. on the crest of this hill. It's a good view for a shower, that's for sure. Today we'll be entering the lower part of Lake Champlain, heading up to Port Henry. Can't wait.